Tough to see. We're seeing the notches on radar.
Right. Kind of out of the Fulton area. And
yeah. I'm just going to flip back over to radar so we can see the little notches. It's easier to point out.
Yeah, it's true. You know, I mean, in and around, it's not like we've got one lone supercell thunderstorm with a tail on it that we can just drag. We've got a ragged line with a lot of potential, you know, for strong to severe storms as they come through. That's why we're on with tornado warnings right now, going until 11:15, as severe thunderstorm warnings are also surrounding these storms. So if you were watching, you can kind of see it right there.
Yes,
right?
that little appendage over Lake Ripley, just to the northwest of Oakland. And look at the lightning spike to the north of that.
Yeah,
that is strengthening over Lake Mills. Probably some quarter-size hail.
I was just going to say, that's your hail core there, and just to the southwest, right around as at 18, where that's wrapped up. So if you're watching from Lake Mills, that storm is going to be rolling over you. You're going to get the hail and then the potential quick, tornado. Again, this is Doppler radar indicated. So Lake Mills at 10:58, a couple of minutes from now. Hooper's Mill at 11 o'clock, as that storm is going to be tracking toward you as well. So that's the first tornado warning storm, and then we've got this the southern one here. That's prompting that tornado warning. I guess that's, what we're looking at to the southwest of Milton.
Yeah, I'm not seeing.
Storm is going to be tracking toward you as well. So that's the first tornado warning storm. And then we've got this the southern one here. That's prompting that tornado warning. I guess that's, what we're looking at to the southwest of Milton.
Yeah, I'm not seeing too much in the way of rotation.
Right.
Near Edgerton is where we saw kind of that wind surge, but I'm not seeing too much of an appendage anymore with that. Southwest of Milton there, it's a little bit more ragged and out there, but again, not too much in the way of great rotation with that. We're starting to see the storm still tracking to the northeast. Yeah. Unfortunately, the same areas that continue to see storms.
Yeah, been pounded over the last several hours. Jefferson County, Dodge County especially. What we need is just a surge to the east, and these storms move on out. They need to be moving out, especially throughout the overnight period here. So
you can kind of see the gust front a little bit as well. Let me put this back in motion. Storm's starting to gust out a little bit in Watertown and Jefferson.
Yep, all the way just to the west of West Bend. You can see it, kind of tracking on. And the problem is we've had to adjust our radar a little bit. We got a lot of ground clutter this time of night, especially with that warm, humid, atmosphere that the radar is sampling. So. This is what we got. We got two areas that we're watching in Jefferson County. So watching from Whitewater, you need to be in that safe spot. Jefferson, definitely in a basement, bathroom or closet away from windows if you can. These are radar indicated, tornadoes. Probably not going to see much when it comes to spotters out in and around these storms. So I'm
just going to flip over to current temps right now just to look at the environment ahead of these storms. 70s, 80s, 85 right now in Kenosha. It's almost 11 p.m.
That's that's like a hot late July, August, type of day. 83 in Milwaukee, 82 right now, adjusting. This is some rain-cooled air here, but as these storms surge east, they're still going to feast on a very unstable environment with temps in the 80s. So if we can, Sam, if we can try to, draw out and do a couple of storm tracks, I mean, that would be, the best we can do within these storms here. But most likely, Jefferson County, you're probably hearing sirens, going off in that area. And if you are watching from western Jefferson County, you need to be in that safe spot. So we widen out here, Fort Atkinson, about 6 or so minutes from now. Cold Spring at 11:09, Hebron at 11:15, Exonia at 11:18. As these storms are coming through. So we've got tornado warning storms, moving to the north and east that we're concerned about. We do have strong thunderstorms near Fond du Lac, into Iron Ridge and Beaver Dam, but these storms are, they're not tornado warned, storms as we're watching. So as I just take a look at.
Here's a current look at where our warnings stand as well. So pretty much all of Jefferson County, you're under a severe or tornado warning. Looks like we're going to have some pretty decent wind gusts getting into Fort Atkinson here in probably about 5 minutes. I'm going to flip back over to the velocity product. Not seeing, again, too much in the way of actual rotation, but now we're starting to see a few surges within that line. Let me flip over to the correct velocity product. All right, zooming in a little bit closer, we have this line surging just to the north of Koshkonong. Between Koshkonong and Oakland, Albion also getting in with some of those very strong wind gusts right now. Same with Edgerton. A little bit more difficult to pick up on our radar here. So I sample some of these gate-to-gate shear closer to 55 miles per hour. But we're not seeing too much in the way of that rotation anymore. When we first came on just a few minutes ago, we saw those two distinct couplets, two distinct hooks, and we're really starting to see that fall apart a little bit. But yeah, look at this. Look at the strong winds that are coming into Edgerton right now, and Koshkonong, Albion. Sampling here in southern Dane County, 60-mile-per-hour gusts. Here sampling near Edgerton, 68-mile-per-hour gusts. So we're still getting these winds. We have a dynamic low pressure system over us. It's very windy aloft. In fact, we're seeing 40 to 45-mile-per-hour gusts right now in Milwaukee, just with the system itself.
Just with the system, yeah. That has nothing to do with any thunderstorms out there. So anytime you get those storms, they can definitely pull in, pull down some of those strong winds and accelerate that. So, the question is, with these storms, how long are they going to run the tornado warnings? They may cut it a little bit early just due to the fact that it may not look as good. But we've also seen it tonight where these tornado warning storms have continued their expiration, even though it was really tough to kind of pick out. So I don't know if you flip back between storm relative velocity to velocity to see what's better, Sam, but it's
the velocity is picking up on some of those stronger gusts. Storm relative, we're not seeing, again, too much in the way of rotation.
Right.
If anything, there might be a little bit more rotation down near Janesville at this point compared to any portion of the tornado-warned storms here in Jefferson County.
These tornado warnings continue until 11:15 for western Jefferson County. So if you are in and around that area, I know it's probably alarming hearing tornado sirens, especially late at night. What you can do, though, you can take a look at our CBS 58 Ready Weather app, and you can take it with you to the basement or to the closet or the bathroom. We are streaming on there. It's probably not easy to, crank up the TV, so you can definitely take, you can take that with us. So, that's one way of doing it. But just a couple of tornado safety tips for you as these storms come through. Just really tough to pick out. Within this line of storms. A lot of lightning within these storms. Probably will experience some hail as well. Gusty winds as the storm comes through. But as you had mentioned, Sam, right around Janesville, we've got that storm. Yeah, that's perking up. It does look like these storms are trying to move further east than northeast, which would be nice to get these storms on through. But this is what we have. We still have strong storms throughout the northern parts of our area. Fond du Lac. Finally, it looks like Beaver Dam is going to be getting somewhat of a break as the storms are moving, further to the east. But they are lined up from Watertown into Jefferson, just to the southwest of the Whitewater area as the storms are coming through. The other part of this, Sam, is with that warm front, these storms may be, coming close to crossing, the warm frontal boundary, and that can spin up very quickly too.
All right, one of the tornado warnings was just canceled early.
Okay,
the initial one that was issued for Dane and Jefferson County, so the one that included the Oregon area to Lake Ripley to Lake Mills.
Okay.
That warning was canceled. We still have the warning in effect for Koshkonong, Fort Atkinson, and then just right around the Whitewater area. You're on the border of this, but we still have that warning going until 11:15.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens with that. That southern storm. Maybe just taking taking a little bit more strength. But notice even to the south of that warning, we still have severe thunderstorm warnings as those storms, are still packing a punch near Harmony and even south of there. So. But last couple of scans, you're starting to see this line, start to traverse a little bit further east than north or northeast. So, still expecting, these storms. They've taken a little bit longer toward the lakefront. Sam?
What we were talking about earlier with these outflow boundaries, the gust fronts that are out in front of it. If I zoom back a little bit here in the scan, you can see it reaching the Lake Koshkonong area.
Right.
The Weather Service is maintaining this tornado warning because this storm is riding that boundary.
Sure.
So that can enhance a little bit of spin. Again, just radar indicated, nothing confirmed at this time, but they're maintaining that tornado warning because it's riding that little wind shift, that little gust front coming out of those storms.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's one thing about these storms. We think of the big picture of these storms, but then you've got different boundaries and different storms that interact with each other, and that can absolutely influence, the way these storms behave and evolve for sure. So here's the storm track out of where that potential tornado would be in the Minnehaha area at 11:04, Black Hawk Island at 11:06, Fort Atkinson 11:09, Jefferson at 11:15 as we draw out that. Now, Jefferson and Fort Atkinson is pretty much right on the northern edge of that tornado warning. Jefferson is not. So I want to just make that clear. In fact, let's turn off our radar data, Sam, and just go around our tornado warned area just to hit some of the different towns. Obviously, Fort Atkinson there, North Shore, the Sumner area, as I mentioned earlier, the Minnehaha, Koshkonong, one of the other areas there, Cold Spring. And so within that part of the county, those are some of the ones that we're watching with that storm. Yeah, it is riding that boundary. We'll have to see if it tries to get a little bit more organized. That tornado warning again goes until 11:15. The northern tornado warning that we were watching earlier was canceled. We also have severe thunderstorm warnings that are to the north. Right around the Watertown area. Also, maybe we can zoom in just north of Fort Atkinson, a couple of areas. Johnson Creek, Jefferson, the Helenville area, Lake Mills, Oakland in the severe thunderstorm warning. So Ixonia there, Oconomowoc, you're just off the edge of that, but not that far away as those storms are, packing a punch. Sullivan, where the National Weather Service office is as well. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings there. We have not seen severe storms throughout Milwaukee County. Temps are in the 80s as the storms are moving through, so it wouldn't surprise me if we do see some additional severe thunderstorm warnings through about midnight tonight, before the storms start to, calm down. Sam?
And I will say, you can see the outflow boundary in our northern cells that aren't currently warned. They're starting to pop a couple of isolated cells ahead of it.
Sure.
So I think we're really going to need to watch this boundary as it starts to move into Milwaukee County, where it's still very warm.
Right.
We haven't been seeing any of those storms yet. And I just wanted to pass along again, things are starting to quiet down in the Beaver Dam area, but we're getting reports from the Dodge County Emergency Manager that there is flooding on some of the city streets. It's unknown to what extent, but really not surprising since they've seen pretty consistent heavy rainfall for several hours this evening with those repeated storms. But again, nothing north of Watertown at this point is severe warned, just some very heavy rain, a lot of lightning, but the gust front is outrunning those storms. That usually causes them to weaken instead of strengthen.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah, we definitely want to see that as the storms come through. So we're sitting right around 11:05 or so. The tornado warning continues until 11:15 for Jefferson County, the southwestern part of Jefferson County. We'll have to see if that storm maintains its strength. As we look inside here, it's just been. It's tough. We're also very close to that radar, which sometimes makes it a little bit tricky to pick up on that as we look in. It's been tough to really use that radar tonight inside when it comes to looking at some of the different products. It just has not been very clear, which is typical across southeastern Wisconsin to get textbook, tornado warnings and supercell thunderstorms. We just don't see that a whole lot across the area. We usually get lines and embedded, rotations within these lines of storms. So
I'm gonna do a new storm track here.
Okay, that sounds good.
Well, let the radar update first.
Yep, we just got the radar update.
Made a little jump here. It does look like they're starting to push a little bit more to the east, especially compared to what we were dealing with earlier. So going to go ahead and take that the Milton cell that is tracking to the northeast. Again, Cold Spring, probably about 11-12, so less than 10 minutes. Probably some very strong winds coming with that. Again, we're not noticing that rotation, but it's riding that outflow boundary, so we're going to have to continue to watch for any of these notches to pop up. We have not had any recent updates from the National Weather Service, no reports coming in from the National Weather Service, but again, it is after 11 o'clock now. A lot of folks already in bed. They're not going to venture outside to see if any damage is occurring or has occurred. Again, this outflow boundary is actually reaching the Oconomowoc area now. So these storms that are hitting Watertown right now, Mayville, into the Jefferson area, Lake Mills. It's still on the heftier side, but the farther away that outflow boundary gets from this line of storms, the more that they will continue to weaken. Yeah, and this is what Sam's talking about. You can see the green line, coming out. So yeah, the further that goes away, we get kind of a reduced amount of lift going on within those storms. If that thing, if that line is just hugging the storms, then it's kind of like a snowplow, and it just continues to roll on. But a lot of lightning, a lot of heavy rainfall. Finally, though, with that easterly push, some of the areas that were just hard hit earlier on this evening with not only tornado warnings but severe thunderstorm warnings and very heavy rain will get a break. You can see all of this extending way north to south as the storms are coming through. We've got numerous severe thunderstorm warnings, which is typical with these storms, from 50 to 60 mile an hour winds. Hail has not been a huge factor with these storms. And good news, I guess, the tornado warning has expired? Yep, they're expiring the warning. That's officially from the Weather Service. Again, like what we saw earlier this evening, probably not going to clear from our graphics, our maps until 11:15. But the tornado threat has diminished, so the tornado warning has been canceled early for Jefferson County in of itself. But we still have the severe thunderstorm warnings.
All right, well, we'll continue to watch those severe thunderstorm warnings for you, but now that the tornado warning is going to be dropped, we're going to watch some things closely here. Obviously, if more warnings come on, we will definitely let you know. Keep it right here to CBS 58. We'll get you ready.